G'day Captain, Swombat here with a ship guide for World of Warships Legends. This is the first ship in the German cruiser line, SMS Dresden. Over the next few weeks I will cover the history, characteristics, specifications and give a basic guide on how to play the ships of the German tech tree, starting with the cruiser line. SMS Dresden was a light cruiser of the Kaiserliche Marine and lead ship of her class. Construction started on her in 1906 and she was launched on the 5th of October 1907. Due to having a collision during her sea trials and needing extensive repair, she wasn't commissioned into the Imperial German Navy until the 14th of November 1908. In Legends we find her as a Tier 1 cruiser in the brand new German fleet. Dresden had an interesting career. She spent most of her life on overseas service, visiting the US in 1909 and then back to Germany in 1910, where she spent 3 years as a scout for the High Seas Fleet. In 1913 she went on to the Caribbean to protect German nationals during the Mexican Revolution and transported the former dictator Victoriano Huerta to Jamaica. On the outbreak of World War I she became a commerce raider in the Atlantic off the South American coast. After being sent to the Pacific she saw action in the Battle of Coronel. During the battle she had a duel with HMS Glasgow. While recording many hits on the Glasgow, Dresden's 4-inch guns had little effect, with her main contribution being to hold Glasgow for Gneisenau to land some of her 8-inch shells. While Dresden's impact on the battle wasn't decisive, the battle was a victory for the Germans. After the Battle of Coronel, the Germans believed the British naval fleet base at Stanley in the Falkland Islands must be undefended, so they launched a raid, only to find that the British had a large fleet there. In the ensuing battle, Dresden was the only warship to escape. She fled with the auxiliary ship Seydlitz. The British launched a large search for her and she managed to evade them for a few months until in March 1915, with her engines worn out and low on coal, she pulled into Robinson Crusoe Island and asked to be interned for the duration of the war. Chile granted her request, but HMS Glasgow tracked her down and, wanting revenge, breached Chilean neutrality and opened fire on her. The Germans scuttled the Dresden and escaped ashore, where they were interned for the rest of the war. Dresden's wreck is still laying where she sank and can be dived on today. Now let's go over the loadout, captain and stats. We don't have much to choose from in consumables and loadout here, so we'll just go for Damage Control Party 1, which is our only option. We should probably stick on a flag and camo as well if you can. Now for the captain I've gone for Reinhard Scheer. He's the only captain I have at this stage since I took this footage very early on in the release. I'm really not going to harp on his build too much, seeing as though he's not very well ranked up yet. Basically what we're looking at is making those guns better and making the steering a bit better, that sort of thing. Don't need to worry about torpedoes or anything like that at this stage. Okay, let's dive on into these stats. Survivability. She has 11,900 hit points, which is about average for the tier, and has 6 to 100 millimeters of armor, so nothing really to brag on about there. Her artillery is going to be the main thing we're worried about. She has 105 millimeter guns, 12 of them, 6 per side, firing range of 10 kilometers, reload time of 4 seconds, very fast reload. 180 degree turn time of 17 seconds, although that's not really applicable because the way her guns are laid out, you can change sides very fast. Only comes with HE shells, maximum HE shell damage of 1200. Again, about average for the tier. Chance to set fire, 5%, which is slightly more than the others, I do believe. Anti-aircraft, she has next to no anti-aircraft, and at tier 1 it's not really applicable, so we're not going to dwell too much here. Manoeuvrability. She is quite manoeuvrable. Maximum speed of 25.8 knots, which isn't too bad for the tier. Turning circle of 580 meters. And a rudder shift time of 5 seconds, so she is quite nimble. And last of all, concealment. She has a detectability range by sea of 8.9 kilometers. Detectability range by air, 5.3. And guaranteed detectability range of 2 kilometers. All pretty standard stuff. And that's the stats for SMS Dresden. Now let's dive onto a little bit of battle video and see how we play her in real life. Well, in the game anyway. As you can see, 6 guns per side. They do have reasonably good angles or arcs, these guns, so you can stay very well angled. As you can see, I was using my gun traverse lock, which probably isn't really needed. Not at this tier and not with this ship, seeing as though it is very easy to change from side to side. You don't have to wait for that whole 180 degree traverse. Now we've got a Chikuma here in front of us. As you can see, I'm staying pretty well angled and able to bring to bear all those guns. Now the trajectory of these shells and the flight time is absolutely shocking. So there will be a lot of aiming off. I mean, I'm only at, what's that, 6.49 kilometers. Yeah, whatever it is, it's not real far away. Yet they're still taking quite a long time to get to the target. Chikuma's very well angled as well, but I can bring more guns to bear. And you can only shoot me with a couple. To the right of me, I'm using that hard cover to keep the rest of the fleet from firing at me. Directly to my left, right in front of my bow, I have another Dresden, which I'm keeping bow on so that he can't do much damage while I take care of this Chikuma. Throw a few more shots into the Chikuma. As I mentioned before, we only have HE, so there's no chance of getting any citadels or anything like that. And there goes Chikuma. Now I've decided to change sides, switch over to this Dresden, again staying angled, put the rudder over hard left so that I can maintain that angle, and this Dresden can fire away at me as much as he likes. He's really not going to do a whole lot of damage, and I've definitely got the upper hand in this little matchup. Lay a few more shots into him, and that's the end of Dresden. That's pretty much how you play this ship. Just stay angled. You know, it's only tier 1, so go on, charge in and get those kills up. That's how you play SMS Dresden.